All right, we are now live. The time is 5:35, and I'll call the December 14th meeting of the County Council to order. We will begin with an invocation by Vice Chairman Carroll, followed by the pledge of allegiance.
On the hand, go around, please. Pray with me. Dear Lord, we do thank you for the blessings of this day. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity that we have here today to do the business of Lawrence County. And the great opportunity comes with sacrifice on many people. It's an obligation we take very seriously. Lord, we ask you to be with those who've had loss recently, be with their families. Lord, as we conduct your business tonight here in Lawrence County, the things we do be pleasing in your sight and the things that we should do for our county. Lord, forgive us where we fail you. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Before we get started on our agenda, I want to recognize Ms. Cheyenne Griffin, who is our new county clerk council. We're glad to have her. She's been with us for about 2 weeks and is already doing a fantastic job, and we look forward to her service. All right. All right, next we have the approval of the agenda. We do have one addition that I know of before we get started, and that'll be in new business, letter F. And that'll be COVID relief payment to county employees. COVID relief payment to county employees. Are there any other additions to the agenda? And I'll call for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve with the addition of letter F.
Motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Ms. Anderson. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Next, we'll do approval of the minutes, one from our November 23rd workshop and our November 23rd regular session.
And I move for approval of the minutes of the November 23rd meeting, our regular session, and also our workshop that followed that evening. The necessary correction if they're being.
All right, motion by Ms. Anderson, and second by Ms. Clark. Is there any additions or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. We're not having reports to council tonight. We'll move into all business. Are there any new council submissions for county boards, commissions, or committees? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, the Revolutionary War 250th Committee. Ms. Diane Covers.
On behalf of the Lawrence County American Revolution 250th Sesquicentennial Committee, we're pleased to present Lawrence County the enclosed budget and work plan for a comprehensive program of recognition and celebration for the American Revolutionary War in Lawrence County. We've sent you a packet, and in it we have Life and Liberty, Lawrence County SC, home place of heroes, heroines, and the unheralded. So we hope to tell everybody's story. Remembering people, recovering places, and retelling stories. While the celebration of the American Revolution will be concentrated during the next 5 years, the committee has developed a program for the ages that, with the support of County Council, will continue to provide inspiration, education, and a reliable source of tourism for the county for generations to come. In September, your council recognized us as the official organization to coordinate and administrate celebratory and educational events for the American Revolution celebration. The state and nation will be doing this for the next 5 years and on beyond, because the war didn't end until 1783. The committee's been working diligently to ensure that Lawrence County's dramatic and historic role in this struggle is recognized throughout the world. We have recognized some 14 historic sites throughout Lawrence County that are very significant to the Revolution. Committee members have visited these sites, and we are providing you with cost estimates to have a driving tour. We will have plans and funding proposals for archaeology, educational components, and other things that will be necessary. The committee is very aware of the significant amount of funding that is requested from Lawrence County Council, $644,500. The committee is committed to the judicious and transparent use of this funds. The committee will affiliate with Lawrence County Museum to provide stable physical environment and for staff support to help. It's important to note that some funding will be required for these sites ongoing once they're established. And one source of funding for that maintenance could be the annual accommodations tax by the county. An immediate need is $20,000 for archaeology at Fort Lindley. We believe that this project will generate funding for the county and local businesses throughout the years from the many thousands of tourists who will visit our county. But please note that the committee is not pursuing this as a fundraiser. It's the right thing to do, to celebrate Lawrence County as a unique and singular source of historical significance and pride for all of us, all of Lawrence County citizens, and for the ages. In your packet, we have a map that shows the sites, and they cover the county. This will take people all over the county. We will have it on our website. We'll have signage at the sites, and there will be a QR code so that people can hear the stories. The work of this committee will draw visitors into Lawrence County while giving our children and our citizens a chance to reflect, learn, and gain a greater awareness of the ideals, beliefs, and values that inspired the American Revolution. This plan will increase tourism and quality of life in Lawrence County. Our goal is to complete the plan before 2026, and included will be a driving tour, a cycling tour, cemetery tour, historical church tour, events, educational opportunities, utilizing natural resources, and so much more. And it will be an investment for the ages. And finally, just for a minute, think about Mount Vernon, the home of our first president, the general who led the American Revolution and won independence so that we have our free country. His home was in terrible disrepair. Virginia was not interested in saving it. The United States government was not interested in saving it. But an invalid lady from Lawrence County saved it. And Pamela Cunningham raised the first money toward buying Mount Vernon at Liberty Springs Presbyterian Church in Cross Hill, Lawrence County, South Carolina. She kept on and raised over $200,000 and bought Mount Vernon. It is there today because of her, the first historic preservation in the United States. Part of her family home, Rosemont, is on our tour. With all the growth that is barreling toward Lawrence County, we are fortunate that these 14 Revolutionary War sites are still available from the Revolution. They have not been paved over and they have not been bulldozed, but we need to act now to save our important sites and tell our citizens from now on, Lawrence County helped win this war. Here is what happened. These sites, each one is so important. Musgrove Mill was a turning point in the war. Camden had just fallen, Charleston had just fallen, 5,000 soldiers were arrested, but Musgrove Mill was a victory. And people from here went across the mountain to tell the other mountain men that Ferguson had said, we will kill all the patriots and their families and we will burn their homes. And they came and they met our people. General James Williams marched from Lawrence County. He was killed at Kings Mountain. He was the highest ranking soldier up there. And his home place and area will be on our tour. But each site is important. Each one will have its story told. And we hope to have the children looking up and telling us what's important about Lawrence County in the revolution. We hope the schools will be interested. So I know that's a lot. We're excited. We think it's just really important. So we thank you for your attention and your help on this.
You
We
might
have several here who can answer questions, if you have questions.
All right, I'm sure we'll have a few. I do have one real quick. I was looking through here. Do you have a date per se on when you intend on beginning phase 1, 2, and 3?
As soon as possible. I don't know if I said, Durant has been telling these stories for over a year and taking people on tours. He knows all about all these places. And we have put down the costs here. And when we know of the funding, we will start. As a matter of fact, the archaeology, we already have a $5,000 grant from the state commission that I'm on. They're going to help counties get started. Lawrence County is ahead of most of the rest of the counties, and they tell us that, so we're excited. But Cherokee County has cow pens and Kings Mountain and a big museum. But we have all these sites. So we hopefully as soon as possible, we'll start on the archaeology at Fort Lindley right away. And that's why I said that immediate needed 20,000 for that. And all the others will start, and each one is different. Each place is different. Some don't need much. Musgrove Mill doesn't need much. Culvers and Backcountry Settlement doesn't need much, but it shows how people live then. So it would depend on each site.
Okay, I was thinking for funding purposes, when we would need to look at allocating those kinds of funds. That's why I asked. And then
One of these gives phase 1, it breaks it down into funding $236,750 for archaeology. And that's some of the first thing that needs to happen. Archaeology, a site evaluation, prep plan, signage, trail maps, education curriculum. We hope to be able to give curriculum to the schools to be able to enjoy this great time. So it breaks it down into time, and we can, when we know we'll have funding, then we can say more what and when and how, but we're ready to go.
And what other funding avenues outside of the, or besides county government are y'all looking for?
Well, as I said, we have that $5,000 grant.
I'm going to say that we have approached local sources, Chamber of Commerce, Museum Association, Trail Association, and they are they've committed to us unofficially to help fund this, but it'll be a fairly nothing like asking you for. But we have sought other sources and have been assured that those funds would be available in a timely manner.
And we will pursue other avenues, but it is a county thing. It's for all the county people in Lawrence County. And we all pay the taxes, and it's really important. And we hope you'll agree. Camden has just built 3 big buildings, and they've been working on it for about 20 years. But all the different groups at Camden have worked on it. But we hope that the county will look on this as a project for all of us and will help us.
Are there any questions from other council members?
I still don't get the clarity here. I'm Kurt Brown answer. So the 5,000 that you have is from the state. And this is to help you with the start on the archaeologist work right now. And when you all planning to start on that? I know you keep saying as soon as possible, but I need to have, this is the end of the year, and we won't have another meeting this month. So I was just trying to get some clarity.
I don't think the archaeology could be done before the end of the year. And we have an agency lined up to do it, that the state agency has recommended the Liberty Trail, which is headed up by the South Carolina Battleground Trust, and they're partnering with the American Battlefield Trust. That covers 72 sites in South Carolina. And so they're trying to help all these people do all these things. So where they can, they will help with funding. But it's their archaeology person. Hopefully it would be within the next year. That's one of the first things that has to happen, because you have to dig and see what is here.
Okay, now let's get right there. Okay, this first meeting is gonna be like $20,000. Okay, so you already have 5,000. Yes,
Coming to
sir.
match that 20.
I beg pardon?
Coming to match that 20.
Oh, coming.
Yes.
to match.
We don't have it in our pocket. We don't have a pocket to put it in yet, but we're gonna work with the museum.
Okay.
I believe, is the 5,000 a match, a grant match that you're asking for the 20?
Yes.
Yeah.
The total will be 25,000 and they're giving us 5,000
Okay,
towards
so
it.
now you have 20 left. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get to. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're looking at other social service areas to help you get this 20,000, or you just expected the county to
No,
help?
we're hoping the county will do it. Fort Lindley was a really important battle site in Lawrence County in the revolution, and we are hoping that with funding that can be available, the county can give us this funds. And I say us, but it's not for us. We're donating our time and efforts, is for Lawrence County.
I understand that, but I know that's, the amount that, you're looking at is a sizable amount. That's over $500,000
It
for us
is.
to put on
It is.
into our budget. And so what I'm trying to do is try to look at how we can help you right now, with
Right.
the idea of maybe trying to help you in some other ways later on. Now, if you're saying that you need $20,000, because this would have to come out of our contingency fund or general fund or wherever we can have to find it. So that's why I'm trying to get some clarity
Yeah,
on
that would be the most immediate need, but it wouldn't be today or the end of this year. It'll probably be within the coming year. These others are broken down in phases. So the first phase would be 236,000, and that would be a beginning. I think it would all come about over the next 5 years. It won't all be needed at the beginning.
Okay, I know it's gonna take a 5-year period. So is it possible for us to take your information and look at it as a whole, and then see what we can do as we move on down the road, what we can do come January or February, and then come back and just tell you, making sure we try to add you into our budget so we can acknowledge those things. Because I would prefer to do that if that would be all right with
Yeah,
you.
that's why we're going to present it to you. We included all this in your packet, and we really appreciate consideration.
Okay,
So you'll have all that.
all right. Did I make-
Any other questions?
No, it's some other questions. I'm sorry.
I don't have a question, Mr. Chairman, I just have a comment that I've been reading history, not daily, but weekly for my entire life. The only reason that anybody thinks that they have a right to fair treatment in the world is because of what happened in the American Revolution. If you look at what's happening to Taiwan, China, and Ukraine with Russia right now, they have no reason to believe that they should be treated fairly. This is a concept, this is a uniquely American concept. It's a concept that we need to strive to uphold the words and the thoughts and the ideas that were expressed in the Revolutionary War. We're trying to become the nation that they wanted us to be, that they said we could be. And the only reason that you think that you have any right to fairness in the world is because of what these men stood up for. And a lot of it happened in Lawrence County. And I'd like to see us celebrate that.
It really did. Greenville had one battle. We got about 12 battles here. So we have a lot to celebrate. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to piggyback on what Councilman Tribble said and just thank this committee for what you guys are doing, and to let you know that my full support to help this project move forward is with you guys. Yeah, history is important, and I think if we can celebrate these incredible things that happen right here locally, and I would personally, I'm kind of thinking out loud, but I'd personally like to see us use some of the COVID relief funds that we've got in the county to kind of alleviate some of the capital needs in the county, which would then in turn give us some more options with the budget to meet some of these needs. And so if there's anything I can do for the committee, work with you guys to see if we can maybe do that, I'd be more than willing to help you guys.
Thank you. And one other thing, once we get these done, they'll be done. The website will be done, the signs are there, the places are there and saved from now on. And it will be helping all the businesses in the county. It'll be bringing people to Cross Hill, and they'll buy gas and they'll stay in hotels and all that. So it is a good thing for the county.
One thing I think I'd like to do, I happen to know this from other areas in the state. If I'm not mistaken, this 20,000 you're requesting is the grant match that the state is requiring any county that wants to participate to match. So the counties have to match 20 to get the 5 from the state. And that's the same for every county in the state. Is that correct?
It's a little different than that.
Okay.
This is specific to Fort Lindley. They're helping us with that one. They are going to offer a grant of $3,000 to any county organization, which we're the county organization. You all just designated us that group to help with that. They're also offering a $5,000 grant to like a museum to put up a board in their room, a wall in their museum, promoting the revolution. And there'll be other funding available, hopefully, because the commission I'm on is asking for funding too, so that we can help the counties. Is a big goal of ours is to help each county to get ready and to celebrate.
Okay, but this is a specific grant match for the Fort Lindley Archaeological Project.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
it's $5,000 they're giving us, and
So what
the
I would,
total will be 25.
what I would like to propose, and when we do this often, we have a FEMA Special Projects Fund that the county has that we often use. We did the Joanna Sidewalk Project. Out of that, we did the sign project with the Parks and Rec Department last year. This fund we have set aside for often to use for grant match. Renee's with us this evening. Oh, there you are. We were working on that the other week, kind of where that fund balance set. Council knowledge is just north of $500,000. And to my knowledge, the funds for this tax year have not even come into it yet. The current expenditures for this year, which have also not been made, are $65,000, if I'm not mistaken. So that fund is quite healthy and it's designed for special projects such as this. So I'd like to make a motion that we allocate $20,000 from Fund 156 as a grant match for the Fort Lindley Archaeological Project.
Second.
I'll take Mr. Tribble now. Second by Mr. Tribble. So is there any further discussion on this topic? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you. We appreciate all y'all are doing, and I hope this will kickstart you. And then I would like to see your committee work with maybe some of the staff on a future plan, like Ms. Anderson was mentioning, on working this in the budget. Because this is a large figure, even over 5 years, it's still an extremely large figure. And I'd like to see us see what we can do to help, and also see what other avenues for funding are available, so that that full burden doesn't rely solely on the taxpayers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all, and all the committee members that are here. Appreciate y'all's dedication and volunteerism for this project. Next, we have a public hearing on ordinance 910. Mr. Shanks.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, Council, this is the residential subdivision replacement ordinance. This has been through the planning commission over the past, probably about 6 months. And was presented to council through the first 2 readings, and then kind of a reading period where we set it aside for about a month for any comments from council members. This is the final product. This will replace ordinance 854 and 831, and will become the new residential subdivision ordinance for Lawrence County. And certainly would urge 3rd reading approval once the public hearing has been held.
All right, the time is 5:58. I will open the floor for public hearing on ordinance 910, which is repealing and replacing ordinance 854 and 831 on the planning, design, and construction of residential subdivisions. If you'd like to speak on this, please approach the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, oh, come on.
My name is Linda Poole, and I live at 14039 Highway 101 South in Grayport. I own the property with my brother, James Ricci, that is on Ricci Road in Fountain Inn. And so I'm understanding that there is a subdivision that's been approved to be built there. And so I'm not familiar with what these ordinances are. So what I ask is if someone could give us clarification on the ordinances that are the 910 that's replacing the 854 and the 831, just so we'll have a better understanding of what is proposed to be on that road.
I will gladly give you my copy of the 3rd reading of that. Make sure I give it to you in its entirety. And this is for all subdivisions, so any and all types of subdivisions will be included in that
We
document.
understand that. Can I just have some time to look at this and come back if I have any questions?
Um,
We would not be able to delay the public hearing, right? She could come back during public comment time.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Okay, all
Thank you.
right, yes, ma'am. All right. Is there anybody else for public hearing on ordinance 910? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a motion for approval of third and final reading of ordinance 910.
I move for third reading of 21 ordinance.
Got a motion on the table? Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any discussion?
This is the same one that we can play with last 2 or 3 months, right?
Yes, sir. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of third and final reading of ordinance 910, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have public hearing on ordinance 911. I'll call the county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to call on my good friend Jim Price. Jim? Come on, you and your client, come on up here. These are the gentlemen that, the attorney and the investor that are building this state building. I'll let Jim and his client stand there for any questions. Jim, if you want to kind of hit the highlights on this.
Glad to. Mr. Chairman and council members, my name is Jim Price. This is Blake Hamilton. Blake is with the developer. And this is a project out of the Woodfield Industrial Park. We're going to be building a spec building at 318,000 square feet. As you guys know, the key thing in that development is putting in a position to get good tenants. So the credits that you guys are offering with regard to this particular project are critical when we're trying to get a tenant to come into the building. The theme of the tax rate will be actually the same as the normal tax rate. Credit is what really helps from an operating cost standpoint. So if you have tax arrangements, you guys have had this in front of you 2 readings already, so we appreciate the support that you've already offered. Glad to answer any questions you might have.
This was formerly Project Plate.
Are there any questions from council? I'd just like to say thank you. We're extremely excited to see private development coming in to build spec buildings in our county. That says a lot for what we have going on economically in the community, and we're glad to see y'all here and look forward to y'all bringing us a good business once y'all get completion on the project.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. All righty. Well, first we'll open the floor for a public hearing on ordinance 911. Anyone that would like to speak on this, please step forward to the mic, state your name and address. Time is now 6:03. All right, seeing no one, we'll close public hearing, and I'll now call for a motion for third and final reading of ordinance 911.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve on third reading ordinance 911.
We have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Ms. Anderson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving ordinance 911 on third and final reading, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations and welcome to Lawrence County. All right, next we will slide into new business. First up, we have approval of resolution 2021-77C. I'll call the county attorney to go over that.
Trying to get there, Mr. Chairman. We advised council, and as did the Developer Corporation, that Muffin Man had filed for bankruptcy. What we are recommending here is a resolution of council to suspend any and all credits or benefits that Muffin Man would have under the current agreements with them. Obviously, this is subject to anything that the control really is going to be with bankruptcy court. But in the event that there's a loophole anywhere, we want to make sure that the credits and all are cut off until the matter is resolved. We ask favorable approval of this for that period of time.
You've heard the recommendation from the county attorney. Do you mind elaborating a little bit on the process that we will have gone through or have already gone through to?
As we do in many of the fee in lieu agreements, you offer a reduced tax rate. You offer certain credits, like you heard Mr. Price talking about, that incentivize the company to locate or invest in the county. We did that a couple of years ago. They invested. They ran into some snags and are now closed. They filed for bankruptcy. What this will do will put them back to just a regular taxpayer, so to speak, if you will. And hopefully at some point in time, we will recover our 2020 tax bill, and of course, going forward for 2021, neither of which at this reading have been paid. That process likely will take a year or so as it winds its way through the bankruptcy court. This will protect us as best we can so we don't lose any additional. It will not hamper in any way if Mr. Coleman finds another tenant for that. They do not own the building. They own the equipment. So that is a fortunate thing, that the building is free to be used if anybody would like to explore investing. It's just kind of a backside protection for us. Bankruptcy court's going to protect us anyway, but this is just, I feel, a good thing to do since we did take action officially by this council earlier.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2021-77C, suspending the implementation of ordinance 862 and its benefits for Muffin Man?
Motion to approve resolution 2021-77C.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rankin, second by Ms. Clark. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. All right, next we have resolution 2021-78C. I'll again call on the county attorney.
And I'm going to talk all over to Mr. Coleman. If you'll fill him in on this one, please.
Mr. Chairman and council, thank you. This would, well, let me go back to what we just talked about, just from a point of informing you guys. One thing that we found out last week too is the bankruptcy court has ordered the private equity group that owned them to pay all their employees for the 60 days that they were supposed to pay them. So everybody that worked there will be getting paid for 60 days at some point in the near future. That'll be a good thing. Moving on to resolution 78C and then first reading ordinance of Project Micro. This is a new company. We recruited to a vacant building in Clinton, going into the former Shaw Flooring, Anderson Hardwood Floor building. It's north of a $15 million investment, not including the building, and 93 new jobs. So it's exciting news to start out the year. They'll do first reading tonight, second, first reading in January, and third, and an announcement January 25th.
Fantastic. I'm glad to see that we were able to replace that lost business so quickly. First, are there any questions for Mr. Coleman on this new project? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a motion on approval of resolution 2021-78C, project, how do you pronounce it, John?
Micro.
Motion by Mr. Treble.
Third.
Got a bunch of seconds. Second by Ms. Anderson. And that is on their side of town. I'm glad to see, Clinton getting, economic development, just like the rest of the county. Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for a vote on resolution 2021-78C. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you. All right, the next, is first reading on ordinance 913, which is the outline of the PLO agreement. Is that correct? So this is title only.
Yes, this will be title only on the ordinance. This just kind of gets things kicked off and rolling so that we can complete the public hearing and third reading by the end of January.
Gotcha. All right, so we have first reading of ordinance 913, which will be the PLO ordinance for project micro by title only.
Motion to approve on first reading, title only, ordinance 913.
Motion by Mr. Carroll,
Second.
second by Mr. Rankin. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approval of ordinance 913 on first reading, please raise your right hand. 7-0. All right, next I'll call on Mr. Andy Howard on the airport capital improvement plan.
Good evening, council. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm here for approval of our annual update to our capital improvement plan with the FAA. Every year you guys see for this, we have to turn in our 5-year plan for the FAA so that we continue to receive money from them. And we updated this every year. In the 2022, we are doing the terminal project with the capital sales tax project money, along with funds that we are carrying over from the FAA. And in this, we actually have plans for the next 5 years. And once you get down to 27, those are very fluid. They change a lot. So you usually see things like land acquisition, things that are very likely to change. And when you get closer, those things get reined in a little bit closer to more what we can do. What you're going to see closer are some more safety oriented things, and those keep us in good graces with FAA. What we have coming up in 2023 is a wildlife hazard assessment. We have actually had a wildlife strike at Florence Airport before where a plane hit a deer. And so very well. It was actually on the ground though, so. But that will carry into a perimeter fencing project. And these things are funded very highly by the FAA, and this allows us to get large projects. And it also helps them to fund projects that are not safety oriented. So this is carrying with that tradition that we do and continue to get these projects at the airport. So I'm asking for council to vote on approving this CIP for the next 5 years. And the next step with this will be us turning into the FAA and moving on to the next item on the agenda, which would be the pre-application for this. Any questions?
For the recommendation by Mr. Howard, are there any questions regarding the capital improvement plan? I just want to say thank you, Andy. You may or may not have taken on these duties at a point in time that you wanted to, but you have done a phenomenal job with the airport, and we're grateful to have you looking over it for us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Motion by Ms. Anderson. Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approval of the 5-year capital improvement plan presented to us, please raise your right hand. 7-0.
Thank you, council. Now, on the next item on the agenda is the pre-application for the next part of our FAA plans, and that is the wildlife assessment. That, along with the design and bid process of a perimeter fencing. Given the outcome of that, we have to apply for these funds a year in advance. It does take part of our yearly $150,000 that the FAA awards us. And this is a couple of years out because the terminal project has actually been a couple of years in the planning process. So That's actually taking place in 2022, and this will take place in 2023. So we're well in advance of working on these projects. So the pre-app starts now, the application is a year out, and then, so the projects are in advance. This is a pre-application, just to let them know what we plan to do. So this is just the okay to go ahead with the pre-application and get started on an application. So I just need a vote to approve that.
And just for clarity, the funds won't only be expended if we receive it, which we're very hopeful we will.
That's
But
correct.
two, they're already budgeted in the current budget.
That's correct. We actually, we budget every year a grant match in the airport, but
All right. Thank you. Are there any questions on this grant pre-approval? All right, hearing none, I'll offer a motion. How do you need it worded, Anthony?
just approval to move forward with the pre-application.
Okay. I'll call for a motion to move forward on the approval of a pre-application for the wildlife management at the airport. Motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Mr. Tribble, and then we will address that. There's a clerical issue on the application, but I'm sure you'll take care of that for you. All right, thank you. Is there any other discussion or questions about the application? All right, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. That's a 7-0.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. Make sure we keep those reindeer off the airport runway. All right, next, we will go to our added agenda item. I will call on Mr. Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going to get right to the point. And Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that Lawrence County distribute a one-time COVID relief payment to essential employees in the amount of net $3,000 to full-time employees and $1,500 net to part-time employees.
All right, we have a motion on the table.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Tribble.
So this is going to come from the COVID relief first tranche
Yes, sir.
that we have a budget for that was submitted at the last meeting, right?
Maybe hadn't. We were awarded half of the 13.1, so we had roughly 6.5 in the bank account. We expended 750 on ambulances, so we have a balance of roughly 5, 750.
I guess I thought we were going to sit down and have a look at this thing comprehensively and consider this kind of request in the light of everything else that we need to do, not on a first come, first served basis. I know that leaves a substantial amount left, and that some of it's going to be handled the way that the resolution suggests, but I'm just, I got my own ideas about how this is going to be divided up, and well, maybe we could sit down and go through it. It's a lot of money.
I think that's what all of us thought. And I think that's the way it should be done. I think it's inappropriate for anybody to bring a motion to the floor without having more information than what the motion states. As far as I'm concerned, for me to vote on tonight, because I feel like it was insufficient. Place and put for half part-time employees. I'm left out of the loop. I don't know exactly where that idea would come from, but I really don't think we need to address this in isolation. I feel like the funds came as a group and we need to work at it as a group. I think we started on it on the last meeting where we had the workshop, and we have people steadily calling us because they feel like they already left out. And so I feel like to do it and do it correctly, we need to have a meeting and come up with how we're going to spend it, not in isolation as we go along, but as a group, looking at all the things that are needed. I know occasionally, sometimes people think that this county management do not do enough for the employees. But I feel like we go overboard as much as we possibly can based on the amount of money we have coming in and how to use it appropriately. We just gave every county employee a raise. We benefit several employees within this county by paying their insurance. There's a lot that this county do that we need to look at before we should address this particular problem. And I'm hoping that our other council members step up and say we can do this as a group and not start doing this haphazardly, because I think in the end, we would hate to do it this way.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say that, Ms. Sanderson, I did bring this to the council via email in the past week, and I was able to get some great feedback from my fellow council members about how we could best move forward with this. And, this amount of funds that we'd be using for this, in the grand scheme of the 13.1 million that we have, is a pretty relatively small number. We still have 85% left of our funds roughly to spend on the other capital needs of the county that are before us. I personally feel like after looking at what surrounding counties in the upstate have already done, every single county in the upstate has done something very similar to this, showing appreciation to their county employees for the work that was put in during 2020 and 2021. Very difficult times, especially for our first responders who were on the front lines of most of what was going on. And I personally, I guess the sense of urgency for me bringing this up tonight was, I think it'd be incredible if we could do this before Christmas and have this distributed for these county employees and their families before Christmas. But yeah, that's all I have.
Mr. Chairman, I have one other comment about this. Sure. That I don't have any doubt that there's going to be an amount of money similar to this being used for that purpose. I just, I've got my own ideas right here in front of me about what I want to spend the money on, and I'm prepared to make those motions tonight. And we can go into this with just sort of haphazardly if that's the way you want to do it. But that's not the way I want to do it. The way I would prefer to do it is, and I'd be glad to do it before Christmas. I think that having that money in the bank is not serving us well. We ought to put it to work and getting it out. I mean, we want to meet not tomorrow. Tomorrow's not a good day. Any day but tomorrow. And try to come to some conclusion about how to include Luke's ideas into the whole plan. I'm not opposed to his ideas about it. I just don't want to vote on single items in this thing without looking at the whole. I don't think that's the right way to do it, Mr. Chairman.
I agree with you. We look at our staff also, but not just the emergency staff. I would think that we need to look at all the staff. I don't believe in pulling one or two out when everybody really put their foot forward. It might not be in the same way, but it was the way they needed to work in the position that they were working.
If I'm not mistaken, and Mr. Rankin can correct me, I believe this was proposed to all employees.
Correct. Yeah, correct. So this would actually apply to every single county employee. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Crookshanks, but the way we have to word that is, all county employees are technically essential, correct? According to the guidelines.
I would think most of them would agree with that. Yeah, they are.
I would agree with that as well, but as far as
Yes.
for how the COVID funds have to be dispersed.
So let me ask this. Mr. Tribble mentioned that he's willing to meet again before Christmas to make this happen. Are other members of council as available for such? I know.
Can we make it happen tonight?
I would like some of the things that I have on my list to happen also before Christmas. So I don't mind meeting on the 24th. 25th would be good too.
Mr. Bolton in the room. Mr. Bolton. Put you on the spot. Should council approve something of this matter? What is your turnaround time to carry it out as normal?
We've got to get this week's payroll completed. This week's payroll hasn't been completed yet. We're hopeful to get it done tomorrow. We'll still be closing that out towards the end of the week to pay the taxes on that. Next week is a short week because there's one day that's a holiday. Then we have to turn around and do payroll for the 31st, well, for the 30th. And there's only 2 days open that week, but one business day before payroll is due on the 30th. So everything's a crisis at this point. We're in mitigation right now, crisis mitigation right now. As far as getting payroll, we just switched to a new payroll system, which is good. We did find out today that some of the functionality of the new software will be very beneficial with this, that we can do net to gross instead, so it won't be an individual calculation on every single employee as we have had to do in the past. So that functionality will help. It may not be as difficult as it seems. It just depends on if you want checks cut. If you want checks cut, that's going to be an additional time frame because we'll have to have those overnighted to us because we don't have enough checks for every single employee on hand. If they can do that the next day, if they print them, it makes it a lot faster. If we print them, it takes time because we have to go in and we'll have to do a batch run of over 400 some odd employees. And then we can take into consideration calculating which ones are part-time, which ones are full-time, and those things. So I would say it probably would take at least 4 days. If that's if we did a direct deposit ACH. That will need that lead time to go through and vet all of those and have the appropriate tax, make sure that we have the appropriate taxes taken out.
Yes, sir. And vote for money to be given to our employees at the appropriate time. And I would like to do that as quickly as possible. But in light of that, I would move to table this motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion to table and a second by Ms. Anderson. We'll call for the vote on tabling this motion. All those in favor of tabling, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Motion is tabled 4-3. We will work diligently and quickly to set up a meeting to have more discussion on these funds. I agree with Mr. Rankin and appreciate his working with some of us about the dollar figure and to whom they go out to. I'm thankful for all of our employees. I believe that all our employees are essential. And that is a fact. But we will, that being tabled, we will work on bringing that back up as quickly as possible. I believe that's it for new business. We will now move to public comment. This point. Thank you so much. All right, first up, Miss Patty Knupp. Okay, all right. Miss Linda Poole. Okay. All right. Mr. James Ritchie. All right. Mr. David Kennedy.
I'm good at the comment.
All right.
Brother Chair, and the rest of the honorable board members, first let me wish everybody Merry Christmas. And also on the 22nd, I want to say that we Supervision of Lawrence County, treating people in Lawrence County, Hallelujah Day. And there's a lot of things to many very businesses in Lawrence County. And we have been doing this for several years, but tonight I heard my brother Trevor talk about the great American Revolution. And we are different from a lot of other countries. But he used the word families. And I'm shouting with Sister Anderson in the sense that the council, we need to be very fair in how we disperse these monies. We have a lot of citizens in this county for years have been overlooked.
because of where they live at. And sometimes even based on the color of their skin. But there are a lot of black, white, and Latino communities suffering. And I'm saying the roads in some areas are devastating. There's a need for the fire department to be able to reach these people. There's a need for ambulance to be able to go in there and see about these people. They are your citizens. Hallelujah, man. They help make up Lawrence County. And at some point, the council, when you have blessings, these people pay taxes. And one of the things that caused the revolution, the people told Great Britain, no taxation without representation. But we must not forget some of the basics. Nor should we be idealistic or romanticize the Great Revolution. We need to tell the whole truth. But everything is included, and we must be fair in dispersing these funds. And then the Lions did. I do want to say, I want to give a shout out to Brother Dale Satterfield for intervening. People are angry, they're very angry in some of these areas. When people in Lawrence County get angry, not only black folks, white people too, I get the call. And I try to rush to see about whoever has an issue or concern. I fight for God, so I fight for everybody. And I just happen to be president of the Lawrence County branch of the NACP that was started according to Dr. Robert Brisbane in a book called The Black Vanguard, professor at Morehouse University. The NACP was started by white people. The boys and others came in, but Dr. Brisbane is right. And I'm hoping in a council, there are 2 blacks and 5 whites. At some point in this county, we are going to have to show some real love to each citizen. And I'm asking you to be in prayer, but some of these roads are so devastating. And they're not in this situation by accident. It's a long history, and the histories need to be told in truth, because too many things have been covered, and now it's time to uncover, so we can arrive at the truth about everybody's history. And in the Lions Den, we call it. Those roads are devastating, and no citizen, when these monies come in, we should not politic the money. There are some basic needs. That's what I love about God. We told the people when you get blessed, leave some food behind, some crops behind, so the poor can come and get it. Because God knew they were part of his creation. These citizens are part of his creation in the Lions Den, in other poor areas. And there are some poor white areas that Lawrence County has overlooked. I'm saying tonight, before I take my seat, I ask you to be in prayer and let us be fair in distributing monies to all citizens should be entitled to become the recipient of blessings with these monies. And I'm talking about people who are living in dire situations, deals with economical situations. They need you. We need you. And other thing I'm asking, and I want to thank Brother Dale saving me some time. These people are ready to protest, and I roll when it's time to fight. So you all need to give Brother Dale, give him a raise. Give him a raise. Because at some point, we're going to have to do what Ms. Anderson said. You can't isolate, you can't politic behind closed doors and come in here and make decisions. Everybody must be included. You have to listen to each person. And then you have to be concerned about every citizen in this county. They are part of God's kingdom, his creation. I thank you for the time. And I thank Brother Dale. We're gonna roll together on Thursday. And I want you to give me a raise. Hallelujah day. Thanks.
Thank you, good brother. We appreciate you. All right, I believe that's all for public comments. So we will move into county council comments. I'll start on my right, Ms. Clark.
I really don't have any, comments. I just wanna say happy belated birthday to our administrator, celebrate birthday, happy birthday. Also on last week, Mr. Chairman and I had opportunity to go to the economic development process workshop. So that was a good training for me as well. I thank him on that. Great network. I just want to say happy holidays, be safe, be careful, be blessed.
Right.
Thanks, Chair. I just want to, I guess, close by saying that I'd like to see the motion I brought forward tonight get completed by Christmas. That is my goal. And I'm more than happy, willing to work with the rest of the council to make sure that can happen. I know Councilman Tribble mentioned something similar, making sure we can make this done before Christmas. So we will be working on that. And hopefully we can get it done. And Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Tribble.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the subject of money, that last time that we were here, we were sort of given a sketch of the administration's view of where that money should go. And that one of the things that has drawn a little attention is the movement of the EMS station from Joanna out to the interstate. And that has met with universal dismay. That schools are saying, don't put it out there where nobody lives, and we're saying, don't put it out there where nobody lives, and the fire department saying, don't put it out there where nobody lives, and so don't put it out there where nobody lives. It's on the edge of the world out there. So I couldn't get through the meeting without telling you nobody lives out there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That's what I like. Yeah. All right, Ms. Anderson.
As we move into this holiday season, I'd like to wish each of you out there hope and happiness, joy, as we go into the end of this year, and hoping that at the beginning of the coming year that everybody is all here with us and we have an awesome year. I think Lawrence County is a good place to live. I think all of us as citizens enjoy living here. And I think we all have something unique about us that exemplifies the love that we have for each other. It's a beautiful sight sometimes, and sometimes it's not. But I'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right. I just have a few things this evening. One, I'm going on the limb for our emergency management and EMS staff. When they brought us that plan, I hope they did not do it haphazardly. And I vaguely glanced at the heat map, but it was done with the consideration of where the calls came from, and they spent a lot of time and effort into where the most need was. So I will give them that tip of the hat. I hope they were right. If they were wrong, I will look like a fool. Next, I want to say a few words. I didn't get to say much during the discussion earlier on the COVID relief payments for our employees. I was definitely in favor of it, and I think we'll work hard together to address it. And to piggyback off of one of the things Reverend Kennedy said about us all being involved and going through those processes, I'll just ask if when Councilman reaches out for input on something they're energetic about, that we all participate and respond to those council members that are trying to get input before they bring something to county council. Because if you don't get input, all you got is what you got. If one person responds, you got 2 people's ideas. If 6 respond, you got 7 people's ideas. So I will just, no matter what the issue may be, whether you like it, hate it, love it, any feedback when anybody asks about something would be be greatly appreciated, and your heartfelt. I think all of us up here work well together professionally, and if you get mad at one of us, I don't think the other one's gonna take it personally. We all work together very well, and I'm thankful for that. And I also wanna, wish everybody a Merry Christmas. It's been a long year, been a long 2 years. And just thank all of our employees and the community that work together to get us through it. And thank you to the council members up here that 12 months ago elected me chairman. Y'all had a lot of faith in a young guy, and I've enjoyed thoroughly working with you throughout this year, and look forward to working with you next year. So with that, Merry Christmas, everybody, and I'll call for a motion to enter executive session. Motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Mr. Rankin. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0, the time is now 6:40. We will enter into executive session for a legal briefing from the county attorney and contractual matter related to building and grounds in 10 minutes. All right. Time is now 8:20. I'll call county council back into regular session. County council met in executive session to discuss a legal briefing with the county attorney and a contractual matter related to building grounds. No action was taken in executive session, but I will now open the floor for any motions that need to be made. Are there any motions?
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion. In light of the need to get the Veterans Department a new home and to get our voter registration department up and running well in advance of fall elections, and given the lead times that are required for supplies these days when everything is stretched out, we need to move ahead with the rest of the first phase of the Winn-Dixie building down the street. And I move that we agree to spend $4.98 million from various accounts to get that project started. There'll be monthly bills coming in and we'll pay them out of various accounts as we try to figure out exactly how we want to finance it. But I want to move to authorize the expenditure, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Tribble, a second by Ms. Anderson. Is there any discussion on that matter? All right, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Is there any other motions that need to be made coming out of executive session? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Carroll. Second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0.